Welcome to Cooking with Bewley. Today I'm cooking mac and cheese mildly. So when I make my mac and cheese, I use these shells. I already have the water in the pot. So let me go ahead and turn that on. And what I normally do is I don't wait for the water to boil, I just pour them in. Obviously you want the water to, boil, and then and I'll show you, but after the water boils, you can turn that down, and then you kind of what you're going to do is you're actually going to get a spoon, and you'll get a spoon and kind of spoon out one of these shells, and you put it in your mouth and like to see if it's that's how you tell if it's done. Now obviously everybody knows that, or hopefully everybody does know that, but with this being a cooking show, I felt like just maybe there would be somebody out there that may. So as I was preparing, I didn't know, I was asking the Lord, like what, because I couldn't really think of anything, parallel from, cooking, that, and like mac and cheese, and I couldn't think of how to kind of fit that in or tie that into a small little sermon or teaching, really. But the Lord said, talk about Genesis chapter 1 verse 2. And so let me just start out by reading Genesis chapter 1 verse 2. The earth was formless and empty, and darkness covered the deep waters, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the surface of the waters. So it actually, twice, it talks about there being waters. Like there's, so we can see from there that the earth is founded by water. And so no wonder when you go, in the early days, actually, before there was running water, people would dig for wells. And so no wonder when in some places, once you dug deep enough, water would come seeping out of. Now, yes, part of it would, do because of the flood, where, obviously the flood, like I can see where some water would have, and that's a whole nother sermon there, but like the flood, depositing, making deposits, there would have, like, been places where water would have gotten carried and possibly dumped or deposited. But other than that, because I don't really know a whole bunch about that. I haven't really studied that, so I really probably shouldn't have said anything about it. But I just had a little moment there of, whoa, that's kind of interesting. But the earth, you see in Genesis 2 is pretty much, or not Genesis 2, Genesis 1 verse 2, you see twice that, the word water, meaning so it's pretty much giving you a picture of this, earth or this void. It was pretty much formless, except for, and it was empty, except for water. Like basically there was already water, and so then God, started to add land, on the water. So when you get to Genesis chapter 7 verse 11, that would obviously be a good reason why water sprout up from the earth, which I did a lesson on not too long ago, about. And so it's pretty unique, really, when you think about it. It's really unique how the earth is founded by water. That's how we know that water is an endless source. That's how you know that the ocean is never going to dry out. There's something in the deep ocean, like beneath, like in the very, very depths. There has to be, for water to be an endless source, there has to be something like constantly creating new water. And you see here in verse 2 of Genesis 1 how the earth being founded by water, that actually kind of makes sense, that there would be, just something, constantly creating new water. And so I don't know, again, I don't know how it ties into the, cooking, but as I was cooking, I was looking at the pot full of water. And, well, that's what the earth would have looked like before God created land. Is it would have been a void, but it would have been, pretty much just nothing but water. So just I guess if nothing, the lesson here is just mainly a interesting thought that I'm leaving you with to kind of grow your knowledge a bit and kind of grow your understanding a little bit, if you hadn't, already. It's just simply something that you can maybe get a revelation, that maybe God will give you a revelation by, you know, by this, by talking about how, and because given it some thought, I mean, it really is like just very, even if you've already known that, just trying to wrap your mind on this earth being founded by water, it's like, what? And that's literally the question that I ask, is like, what? And so maybe that's your reaction, and I would love to hear your reaction, as long as they're peaceful, in the comments, of, you know, like, because to me, even though, I mean, it's pretty obvious, of, you know, why, if you're digging for a well, water, like, in some places, water is going to, you know, come up and fill that hole, because, well, the earth literally is founded, so that makes sense. And but even though that makes sense, just thinking about how the earth is founded by water, therefore water is a endless source. Wow. If these are done, what you do is, like I mentioned earlier, is you take a spoon and you kind of get a spoonful like that, and what you're searching for is to see if they're soft or if there is if there is a crunch, and they're soft, so put them back in because you're not done yet. Add the butter. And when I mean add the butter, I mean yeah, adding butter. Then you kind of mix that around. Let that butter melt. Now to add this. And I take a spoon to get, you know, the majority, or, you know, the vast majority of this out, or at least try to. It doesn't always work that way. So then sometimes I have to still squeeze some of it out. But you're not going to get all of it out anyway, so don't really worry too much. Just try to get as much out as possible. And I'm sure you already know this, but for, again, anybody that would not, kind of rinsing my hand off there real quick, then, you know, mix I hadn't even put the finishing touch on it yet. It already looks that good. So now the meat, and I did forget that you can also put vegetables. If you have mixed vegetables, you can also put that in here if you wanted to. And normally I do, but I don't have any frozen mixed vegetables, so that's why the only thing that I'm putting in mine is this hamburger. And I normally eyeball it, because to me it doesn't really matter how much hamburger I put in. I mean, it's, you know, so, and it's frozen. The hamburger is frozen. So, I'm gonna have to put a little more than that. But again, with the hamburger, you're mainly just eyeballing. And, I mean, pretty much for if you put hamburger or vegetables or whatever you're putting in there, I mean, seriously, just kind of eyeball it. You don't really need to get a measure out and, you know, measure out, you know, like other than butter. Like butter, that's one thing that you don't. Now, yeah, I probably use a little more butter than most people. But other than that, butter, you know, I'm not going to use, like, maybe a spoonful and a half, or, you know, 2 spoonfuls. So even, I guess even with the butter, I'm not really measuring, I'm just kind of putting spoonfuls. But, with pretty much everything, you're just pretty much eyeballing it. You don't really have to be a true chef, you know, like, to me, what makes a true chef is somebody that is able to just kind of eyeball things and still, you know, when it's done, it still turns out, you know, pretty, like, really good. And believe you me, this is going to turn out good. So, and hopefully this encourages you to try it. So now I'm going to, again, I'm pretty much just eyeball. Now, with this though, this has salt in it, so you don't want to put too much of this in, or else, I mean, it's going to be good, but you're going to notice that you're going to be drinking a lot of liquids because you're going to be thirsty. Why are you going to be thirsty? Well, this has salt in it. So if you put too much of this, it's not that it's going to taste salty. It's not going to taste salty. But because there is salt in there, if you do put too much, later, you know, later, you're going to be like, wow, I'm really thirsty. I really need. And so, believe me. But other than that, you kind of just eyeball it. You kind of, what I like to do is I like to pour it in, then I like to stir it around so it gets mixed in there. And then another time. Then I top, and I, stir it. Kind of get that well mixed in there. And then I think I'm going to put just a little bit more, not too much more. Kind of stir it again, get that, flavor kind of in there, get it mixed. Now I like my food, and you don't have to, I guess this can be optional, but I like to spice my food up, so I'm going to put red pepper flakes. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm kind of, shaking it, stir it. I don't really pay attention to the amount. I just kind of eyeball it. And I'm not going to put nearly as much red pepper flakes as I do, so that should be enough red pepper flakes. And you're pretty much done. Now, what I'm going to do though, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that in, so then don't forget to turn this off. Put it in a bowl. It just depends on how hungry you are, really, to be honest. So I'm going to, about like that, I'm going to do that. That should do her. Maybe just a little bit more. Let me get a spoon here. And that's what it looks like. And you can smell the caramelized onion butter. Oh man, and it smells delicious. So get a spoonful. Oh, I wish you guys on the other side of the screen could, oh man, I wish you knew, oh man, it's so good. Like, get you some of this. It's actually really, really good. And like, oh man. Oh. So, cooking mac and cheese the Bewley way. So good.